My right shoulder and neck are currently a little sore. They've been that way since I first naturally woke up today. Around 9:15 in the morning, after I fell asleep today, around 4 in the morning, though I fell back asleep within a handful of minutes, and then I woke up for the last time today, around 11 in the morning, and then I got up for today. About 10 minutes later, and didn't have time to get on my current primary laptop or to have my usual daily Celsius energy drink and then Premier Protein branded vanilla protein shake, as me and my dad were out roughly from 11:30 in the morning to 8:15 p.m. During that period of time, there was only a brief period during which me and my dad stopped at his place for 15 minutes or so before we went back out. In that case, to go to my mom's place. Sometime after we got back to my dad's place, me and my dad, I got an aluminum can orange flavored Celsius energy drink and a Premier Protein branded vanilla protein shake. And sipped at both of those drinks during the same time, but not at the same time. I would sip at one and then sip at the other one generally over the next 45 minutes or so. Me and my dad first visited his mother at his parents' place, during which my dad's mom cooked breakfast for us. she made some scrambled eggs with what she referred to as leftovers. When I asked what were in the scrambled eggs, which in this case were some sliced white mushrooms, within my family, I have a reputation for disliking mushrooms, which historically is partially true. In the recent past, I've only eaten mushrooms if they were in something. And generally haven't eaten mushrooms by themselves, though I have done so at least a few times during my childhood. I recall each time then I had sliced white mushrooms from Wegmans, as those are pretty much flavorless and doesn't have the wet texture that generally makes different varieties of mushrooms gaggish to me. The taste in those cases just mildly earthy doesn't bother me. It's just the texture that for some reason historically made me gag somewhat. Never to the point of throwing up, just kind of triggered a bit of a gag reflex in me. Those scrambled eggs had some diced onions and peppers, which historically I have been into more, though these days I generally have just meat and eggs and get my vitamins naturally through a daily glass of V8 branded vegetable juice. At my dad's place, it's always a glass of the spicy hot variety. As that's the kind my dad always gets, though for me it's just mildly spicy. During breakfast at my dad's parents' place, there were also some ham, which honestly tasted pretty salty, but was still enjoyable. I just had a couple glasses of tap water, and declined having any toast after initially accepting when it was offered to me and my dad, as at the time I was thinking that I didn't want to cheat on my keto diet. But then when my dad's mom brought out a homemade pecan pie, I decided to have one slice with some whipped cream. After breakfast, my dad's mom drove me and my dad to a local Savers thrift store. And during that relatively brief shopping trip, we didn't get this plate, though I did pick out a big glass mug from which I could have either tap water or spicy hot V8 branded vegetable juice. And my dad got a couple pieces of glassware. After the relatively brief Savers shopping trip, my dad's mom drove us back to my dad's parents' place so me and my dad could get into his car. And then my dad drove me to the nursing home where his dad is at to visit him. And after about 15 or so minutes, my dad's mom joined us in his room at the nursing home. I made some conversation with my dad's dad. Though I recall it was mostly either my dad talking to his dad or my dad's mom talking to my dad's dad. My dad and I then went to the barbershop we went to last time we got haircuts. For our 2 p.m. appointment, though I recall we got there around 11 minutes early. I opted for what I got last time, which was to get a fade for my hair and essentially a trim of my beard to make it even. Though I also did something a little different. Since I had the chance, I requested that the hair between my eyebrows be shaved off real quick, essentially fixing my unibrow, though In this case, it was just a mild case of that. At the time, it was just me, my dad, and one male employee of that barber shop. I went first, and then my dad went. My dad then drove to pick up a female friend of his at her place, and then we all went to our regular Salvatore's. I had just one alcoholic beverage there. In this case, I decided to get the drink of the month called Caramel Apple. And then after I finished sipping at that through a small black plastic straw, I used that same kind of straw to sip through roughly 4 glasses of water with ice. During which my dad got a medium pizza with cup char pepperoni and essentially bacon bits. And it was shared between him, me, and the female friend, though I had the lion's share of that pizza, as my dad and the female friend of his didn't want that much of it. The female friend got an order of country sweet chicken wings, and that order was shared between her, me, and my dad. I handpicked 4 chicken wings from that order to have. Essentially, whichever wings looked the biggest to me. Here's where I am currently on Holy Day City Reloaded.